Okay, back on the Sparton. Got some audio distortion, especially when you turn the volume up pretty loud. As you can hear. And the first thing I want to check is the control grid voltage on both output tubes. I should see either a negative voltage or close to 0 volts. Checking on the first output tube, I'm seeing about 0 volts. That's fine. Checking on the second output tube control grid. Let's see. Get down in there. Yeah, got about 15 volts positive there. 15 volts. It's not right. And connected to that tube that has the 15 volts positive on it appears to be one of those Mallory Plas caps. That was a trade name for their plastic case capacitors from the 50s. And I'm going to just tell you, every one of them that I've ever seen today are very bad leaky. They were supposed to be an improvement over the old wax paper capacitors like this one, but actually they were not. These capacitors from the 50s with the plastic housing are usually in worse shape than these old capacitors from the 30s and 40s. So let's go ahead and replace this capacitor. And we now have the infamous Mallory Plas cap connected to our capacitor tester here. We'll test it for leakage now. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty leaky. I'm not even up to applying about 250 volts. Look at it, the eye is staying closed. Eye should immediately close and then open back up. It shouldn't stay closed like that. So yep, this capacitor is, as I suspected, very leaky. And now checking a new capacitor just to show you how a new one tests. Gradually increasing the working voltage. You see the eye immediately closes and then opens back up. In fact, it doesn't even close all the way. Now I'm up to 600 volts. Far cry better than the popular Mallory Plas cap. Well, that's better. Of course, now I'm getting some static with the volume turned all the way down. Sounds something like silver migration disease in the newer type radios, but this radio doesn't use those type of IF transformers. So let's check our voltage. Yeah, that's better. That looks a lot better than 15 volts positive there. Okay, so that issue is taken care of. Okay, I'm now checking my voltage on this tone condenser. This is in the tone control circuit. Well, I'm listening to me say condenser. And capacitor is the modern term for this. 253 volts on one side and 254 volts on the other side. Yeah, that condenser is our capacitor. I'm doing it again. It's probably a little bit leaky. Okay, I just replaced the tone capacitor. And our tone range is better. And I was actually looking at this closer, and there's actually supposed to be voltage on both sides of the capacitor. So 248 on one side of the cap. $250 on the other side, so that's actually normal. And now checking the original capacitor that was in the tone control circuit. Oh yeah, we're definitely leaky. We're not even up to 150 volts yet. And this capacitor measured about 250 on each side of it, so yeah, that cap definitely needed to go. Okay, I'll replace this 4 microfarad cathode bypass electrolytic capacitor on the IF amplifier tube. And we're doing pretty good now.
Shopping, dining, arts, and more. Win and get your puppy trained at man's best friend. 0.5 FM. Sunny 98.5 here. Now you've got sports on the radio 24/7.
Also have my electric heater keeping me warm.
Broadcasting live in WREC Memphis, an iHeart radio station now serving Atlanta Buckhead. Southern Airways time is 9 o'clock. Broadcasting Network, we present Christian Classics, written from a book that has influenced.
Thousands of people selected health insurance plans. Just le he hablado de las batallas estos días, todas estas recursos.
News. He had multiple bruises, lacerations. The fastest, most effective.
Talk.
ClassicChevrolet.com 24-hour right now traffic watch. In Mesquite, still got a stalled vehicle going to be blocking the right shoulder 635 northbound at Town East Boulevard, and some construction 635 eastbound at 35 Simmons. All lanes are closed. All posted detour signs in the area. The news is brought to you by Mueller Incorporated, and it's 9:01 from the 24/7 newsroom. Former Dallas Cowboy Sam Hurd is.
The jury forewoman says the case against Krasinski lacked convincing evidence.
Scary anymore. They'll let our government know, and then we will.
It must be WDIA.
USAID with
9. Berkeley by 5.
The overall low, 23, with a calm breeze eventually. And then by the middle of the day, a sunny Thursday, the high closer to 60. Thursday night, mostly clear, and the low, 39. WMER Sky Tracker Futurecast on Friday, partly sunny.
Here we are on shortwave.
My most holy mountain.
Of course, there's not near as much activity on shortwave as there used to be. Okay, we're running out of time here, so I'm not going to spend much time on any individual station of the first shortwave band, which covers 1.6 to 4.4 megacycles. It's really not a whole lot on that band. I can hear the upper end of the AM broadcast band at the here, so that tells me that this band is operating. Okay, replace some more capacitors in this radio chassis. Replace this capacitor, an Olson branded capacitor, which is a what value is this? 0.05 microfarad, and it tests extremely leaky. There was another Mallory glass cap that someone had replaced, and it actually tests fair, not great, but fair, not as leaky as the first one that we pulled out. and these two Sprague 0.05 microfarad capacitors here, and where's the other one? Down here. I'll replace those because they're bypass capacitors. They have high voltage on one side, and the other side on one of the capacitors connects to ground, and this one here connects to this trimmer. Main reason I replace those is for safety purposes, because if these were to short, it could place B+ voltage direct to ground, and then we'd be right back where we were with this shorted filter capacitor here. Okay, I have one of the Sprague bypass capacitors that seem to be pretty good on the modern cap meter. Well, the old capacitor tester tells a different story. Look how leaky that is, and we're applying less than 100 volts. So, yep, that just proves that these modern capacitor meters, well, let me if you were to test this 0.05 cap on one of these modern capacitance meters, you'd think it was A-OK. Well, technically it's not A-OK, because as you saw on the old style capacitor tester that applies full working voltage, the cap leaks. And here's the other Sprague 0.05. It's reading 0.04. You'd probably think that one was OK too. And testing the same cap on the old style cap tester. It's not as bad as the first one, but it is unacceptable. And there you go. As far as I'm concerned, this thing is done. There's an out-of-town station. A while ago I was picking up 870 WWL out of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Faintly.
On the dumb things.
See if I can still bring it in. And there's the station out of York, Alabama that used to be a good station, but it turned into a black gospel station. Okay. And there you go. I think this one turned out pretty good considering where it came from.
Just won't let me
Now, just to reiterate, if I was repairing this set for a customer, or if it was one I was fixing for myself that had a nice cabinet, I'd replace every one of these paper capacitors, and I'd also replace a lot of the resistors. In fact, some of the resistors I checked out of curiosity are a little bit out of tolerance, but for what we're doing with this will do just fine for now. Okay, thanks for watching, and more to come later.